What's up guys, it's Matterz, and as you guys know, there is a ton of new information being revealed for upgrading the wonder weapon within Shadows of Evil. We're gonna have a ton of new deciphered quotes later today. There was actually like whole quotes deciphered into full English, like actual sentences rather than the actual words and phrases we had before, you know, with the upgrading wonder weapon steps and all that cool stuff. So that video will be later today. Right now we're just gonna take a couple steps back and really think about these steps, because the steps were translated and we had a good amount of information of what was basically asked of Treyarch to actually do this Easter egg basically within the game. These quotes deciphered to some interesting little stuff, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna talk about the cocoons again and what sequence that is within the actual Easter egg, and how that translates to what we actually need to do before we get to any of the cocoon steps. Again, the last quote and the step that goes along with the last quote potentially completed and deciphered. The whole quote will be completed as well, you know, within another later video. But again, we have the actual sort of consensus of the completed quote now that we have more information and the Aparthicon language that goes along with it. So we're gonna get started with that in a second. But before this video starts, again, if we can hit 100 likes, just like all the other videos, you guys have been hitting these like goals like there's no tomorrow. It's absolutely insane, and it's crazy. It's freaking crazy. I'll do it, like I said, channel update video really soon. But 100 likes for this video, again, greatly appreciated. So let's get started. Now again, we don't have any actual new gameplay. We haven't seen a lot of gameplay since the actual Margle cocoon step, and that we're not even so sure if, you know, that was like an official cocoon. And then the gameplay we saw back a couple weeks ago, it was the cocoons that responded within the coding, and if you saw that gameplay, they were found within certain sections of the map, different bridges. I'm pretty sure it's like a couple or one in each district. So that's basically what we've seen so far, but up until then, it's really just been going through these Reddit posts, going through the actual leaks within the Black Ops 3 coding, and trying to decipher the quotes to really figure out these steps. Now, the last quote, again, was basically fully completed. This quote was completed, and the last step directly relates to the cocoon. Now, cocoon, again, was something we know what was, you know, it was in the code. Treyarch put it in there, and they basically were just like, okay, you know what, this is going to be a thing, this is going to be a part of the step, a part of upgrading the wonder weapon. Cocoons, it's going to be a main part of this. Now, what we didn't know was that it was actually the last step, a part of the upgrading wonder weapon sort of Easter egg, because within the coding, you have a series of quotes, you have a couple beginner quotes that sort of lead you into the Easter egg, and lead you into upgrading the wonder weapon. But then the last quote, sort of the upgrade complete quote, directly translates to some sort of opening of the cocoon, or transforming it and opening it into something, or activating the cocoon. So this actually sidetracks us a bit, because we thought cocoons and opening these cocoons with the upgraded fumigator was like a beginning step, and we had to like, okay, where are the cocoons? Where do we find those? How do we activate the cocoons? But when in reality, this last step, or when the last quote was actually completed for this last step, we were just like, oh, well, what do we need to do? Because the last step is actually the cocoon, and the last step, a part of that, is opening the cocoon or activating the cocoon, whatever you want to translate it to, whatever you think you would do with the cocoon. Obviously, we don't know yet because the whole thing wasn't translated. That's probably a later video, like I said, but we know it has to do with activating these cocoons in some specific way. But that's the last step as revealed within the new deciphered completed quotes. So what do we have before this? We have so many other steps before the cocoons. Now, this completely sidetracks us, like I said, because now we have to think almost in a completely different direction. The cocoons, I'm sorry to say, are almost like irrelevant at this point, because we really don't care about them. It's like the latter part of the Easter egg that's way in the future. We need to figure out how to actually do it first. Again, we've seen theories, we've seen stuff before. You get 10 kills with the wonder weapon, and then you hear a quote, and then you actually you have to down yourself, and there's other stuff like that. That part we're not so sure yet. We're still trying to figure stuff out. But we really need to change our direction in how we're deciphering this wonder weapon and how to actually upgrade the wonder weapon, because as of now, most of the actual Easter egg hunters and people trying to find the upgraded wonder weapon, they're going straight for the cocoon steps, and they're like, okay, this quote relates to opening a cocoon, let's directly try to attack this quote, when you can't do that, because the cocoon step is after the first step, the second step, the third step. You need to do the first 3 steps first, or however many steps there are. We're not so sure yet, but you need to do the first couple steps before you actually do the cocoon step. And again, that was revealed within the official code for for Black Ops 3 Zombies. So basically, Treyarch is telling us, not specifically, but Treyarch is telling us through this code and through the quotes that you can't do the cocoon step first, you have to do the other steps. So again, this is sort of like a beginner video. The quote, basically, I'm just announcing to you guys, the quote, the last step was completed, in the fact that you guys need to do other stuff first before you actually get to the cocoon step, because the cocoons, whatever you need to do, that's the last step. You can't do that first. Again, there's the whole thing with upgrading the fumigator, whether it's, you know, the bug spreader versus the sprayer. That was found within the code as well. And that's also something that we can't even worry about anymore, and we have to really detract from our search for the, you know, wonder weapon, the upgraded wonder weapon, because the upgraded fumigator, you would use that to, you know, most likely open the cocoon. And again, since the completed quote and the last step was revealed from that quote, again, the last quote, it's sort of showing that even the fumigator you're not going to use till the end. So there's a ton of stuff that we need to push aside and figure out first. There's other stuff I will talk about and what those first couple steps might actually be. Maybe I'll try to do some live streams myself and really go into there and figure out some stuff. Now that we sort of have this information, the cocoons are sort of not our main sort of point as of now, and the fumigator is not our main point. I will still talk about them, but since the quote was finally completed, it reveals that the last step is for the cocoons and it's not really for anything else. So again, we'll have to see what happens here. A lot of stuff we have to talk about, and yeah, so if we can hit 100 likes, that'd be greatly appreciated. More videos on upgrading the wonder weapon really soon. We're gonna get gameplay. It's gonna happen soon. Just stay tuned. I'm gonna bring you guys basically the information as it comes out immediately, because I've been doing that for a while now, and I think I'm doing pretty good at it, and you guys appreciate that. So I thank you guys, and see you guys later.